Welcome to Be Free with Charissa Marie. More than a name, it's a way of life. It's how we show up, grow, and transform. This is your invitation to live intentionally and empower others while doing so. The meaning behind Be Free. Purpose. I know who I am. Here, I choose to be. Resilient. I adapt, don't quit. Elevated. I uplift myself and others. Empowerment. I know who I am. Evolution. I do everything.
Hello. All right. Welcome to Be Free. And this is Charissa Marie. And I have a special guest. I'm so excited. So I've been cyber stalking her a little bit on Instagram because I really like her messages and I think we're aligned in that way. But her name is Michelle. They call her Michelle the Frequency Queen, but I'm calling her Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So good to be here. Thank you for having me and hosting me so nobly. Charissa, you're beautiful. I am so grateful to be here. I love having a chat. I'm a triple Gemini. We got all the feels. I feel the vibes. As soon as you messaged me, I just said a hell yes. So here we are. Let's see what happens.
That's so sweet. So I was like all intimidated, like, I don't know. I'm just going to just say it. I'm just going to ask her. I don't know. What's the worst that can happen? She can say no. And that's the worst that can happen. And then I hadn't thought the math through all the way. And she's like, I'm in Australia. I'm like, ain't that something? Okay, give me a minute. I got to go recalculate, think about this thing. And so she so sweetly agreed to do this. It is about 9 something her time, and it's 7 a.m. something my time, which isn't so bad for me because
I scrubbed my makeup off. I turned up in all my authenticity. I just think it's really important to be comfortable in your own skin. And I have a few different clients in the States, and we do the sort of remote coaching sessions. It's tricky, right? The time thing. I struggle with it every time. So literally I'm a day ahead, which is like how? Who created the concept of time?
Yeah, I do have a little bit of experience with that whole concept of with the big differences between country, because earlier in my marriage, my husband was stationed in Belgium, Europe.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
And
so
all
traveling.
So I think that was like a 10-hour difference. They were all in the States, and communicating was difficult. In fact, that's the first time when I was moving. That was 2009 back then. My family said, you got to get on this thing called Facebook so we can see your pictures and stuff. And I was pregnant at the time. I was like, And that's kind of how and why I got on Facebook, because I knew that I wouldn't really see them normally.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I lived abroad, we were only in Southeast Asia, but 3-hour time difference. We didn't have things like Facebook back then. It does make it really nice to touch base.
Yeah.
I do video calls with all my friends regularly now that are abroad or in different time zones. Even in Australia, it's such a massive landmass that friends in Western Australia, it's a big time difference. So we just get onto video. It's fun.
Oh, wow. So funny story. So I went to school with someone. I knew, and her name is, forgive me, Kathleen. I'm sorry, I'm putting you out there. Her name is Kathleen Corbin. I hope I'm saying her last name right. And I've known her since I was 5. We were in ballet together, and we did dance all through. We weren't friends. We weren't like close friends, but it's someone I saw through my whole childhood, right? Yeah. And we went through ballet, and then in high school, I knew her in high school. After high school and college, she saw me and she was like, "You're still dancing?" I said, "No." And she had taken it on, like this was her thing. And she's like, "You're so good, you should have." I'm like, "Yeah, I never did that. And plus I got the black girl booty." And you know what? And here's the thing. Like when you're a little kid, you don't know what you don't know. But I remember my my ballet teacher coming around behind me and tucking my butt in as if it's going to go
What?
somewhere. Yes.
So I think they pay for that now, apparently.
Yes. I could have sued. I mean, that was fine.
Yeah.
But she would go tuck my butt, and I'm like, I got a black girl. In hindsight, my booty was gonna be my booty, no matter what.
No, what I meant when they pay for these girls are paying to have booties like beautiful
it's
booties.
Crazy. I mean, I could be, and I'm still kind of shaped weird. Like I'm thin, but then I got the bump. It's really annoying. Trying to find.
No, it's great.
Kathleen, I knew her in high school, and then I don't remember what year it was, but I know that I was overseas or something. Maybe it was 2010 or something. And she said, yeah, I'm moving to Australia. I said, huh. So I have a random high school classmate living somewhere in Australia, and here I am talking to you.
There are worse places to live. Trust me. People love it
loves
here.
it.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, I only hear, I think it's on the list of one of the best places to be.
Yeah. Most people I've spoken to on podcasts, they say it's their bucket list to come here or even better live here. Like it is amazing. We do have it all. And the people are pretty chill, you know, like. Yeah, they're like pretty flexible. And they're pretty, what you see is what you get. There's not as much of a facade, I would say. I might be wrong, but that's my perception.
You can walk around, be free.
Yeah, you can. You can do you. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay. So tell me about you, because I am curious. I'm learning too, as I navigate my way through this thing. I'm paying attention to different people. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, you know, what is it? So how did this happen for you? Because did you just decide to go on Instagram and be the fabulous Michelle Frequency Queen? Like, what happened?
Not really. I kind of needed a push. I mean, I didn't grow up with any of that, obviously. You know, I am not your Gen Z. I turn 60 next weekend, and I have had a few massive awakenings in consciousness. And the last one being, it was 2016. I used to work in the media, and I've worked for like every single magazine. I've worked in film and I've worked in commercials, but I've always wanted to be that behind the scenes person. I have, one of my first jobs was actually cooking on a TV program which was filmed live. So any mistakes went to camera and I would laugh about it. But I was a really young teenager, and I do remember people recognizing me on the street back then, and it felt really uncomfortable for me. I wasn't yet comfortable with being perceived as somebody on camera, I suppose. So when social media launched, I was pretty into it, but I would never put my face to it, you know. But my new business happened with my last awakening, 2016. And I don't know what your followers are into, because I know we connected on, you know, the wellness side of it. But for me, wellness is all vibrational, it's frequency, it's spiritual, it's all of it. So you help dictate where you would like the conversation to go. But I'm clairaudient, and I received a message that said, the eyes are the windows to the soul, and you'll have to put your face on camera for your people to connect. And I was like, oh my God, no. But
beautiful.
Yeah. And you know what, when you get to the point of realizing that everything you vibe with is a reflection of you, everything that you love and adore is a reflection of you, and everything that you may not like or that's prickly or triggers you is something within your shadow. That then becomes the integral lesson of meeting. You know, my prayer every day is to operate from my highest timeline and meet people that are authentically real, and love the opportunity to talk to people like yourself.
Yeah, you know, and like you said, the bottom line is people connect with the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really it doesn't even, the thing isn't as important as the person with the thing. It's like, you know, it's like connecting to that person on a personal level is what made, in fact, I was like checking you. I'm like, I mean, for me, it's the subtle things. I can feel warmth through a smile, or I can feel like, and that builds trust. You know what I mean? It's those things that it is important. You got to put your face out there. You know what I mean?
You do. Coming from my background, though, I worked as a stylist. There's this perfectionism drummed in, and the unhealed nervous system will come up with a million reasons not to turn up. I'm not eloquent enough. I'm too old. I don't look good today. But I've just I made it my mission, and I decided within a 2-year span to turn up every day and do lives. I just did. I talk about whatever I was meditating on that day, sometimes weird and wacky, sometimes boring. And I built a community around just turning up. And sometimes I'd turn up glamour, and sometimes I'd turn up, looking crazy, actually. But once we can push past all these things that divide us, all these isms, and we can really lean into the essence and release judgment for others, that's when the pure intimacy or heartfelt connection happens. And that's what I aspire for on my platforms anyway.
I love it. Me too. I think we are so much more alike than we're different. And if we could connect to that likeness that we have, I think it would just make, oh gosh, it sounds corny. It would make the world a better place. I mean, it just would. We could just on a very basic level connect to how we are more alike than how we are more different. It just make things.
Yeah, the way I've heard it channeled in was speak their language. And so that's a connection. So if you can make a conversation more about listening and what the other person's interested in, instead of the ego likes to speak about self, right? But if you don't have that capacity or have a container within your own heart space to hold space for somebody else, then they're not ever going to remember you for how you left them feeling. Yeah. So I really do think in connection, and like I know with online, we might think that we're being profound or we're calling others to learn or be educated. But really at the bottom line, I think the online thing has become so powerful. It's how does somebody feel when they're in your presence? What makes them keep coming back to listen to you, actually? And it's rarely what you look like. It maybe used to be in our ego state, but I think the evolution of our souls is really happening now on steroids. And people are realizing, oh, that was all bullshit, guys. Like I know that was one of the things I really felt Spirit say to me is drop the perfectionism, fear, control, and just be, turn up. You'll find your people then.
I wish I'd known you 10 years ago.
I probably wasn't the same person 10 years ago, to be fair.
No, but I'm not either, right? It's like it's like I love that what we learn, and I feel like I am a human sponge for the most part. Like I know how to get rid of what I don't need, but I do also am very good about receiving what feels good, feels good to me, what is good for me. You know what I mean? And something about your page. So you have a picture of yourself holding a bowl. Is it a sounding?
Yeah, I play singing bowls amongst other instruments. So hence the name, the Frequency Queen, that my gaggle of business partners actually decided that name for me, because apparently in marketing, you should have a little catch thing after your name. And I'm like, I don't have one. And they're like, you have to have one. Your surname's ridiculous. Thanks to my beautiful Javanese husband, whose surname is his first name and it's that long. So I let them do it. And I experimented with the discomfort of that, but it does sort of sum up what I'm talking to people about, men, women, young people. Like I don't, whoever comes, everything's vibrational, right? We know now that the avatar body is simply atoms vibrating.
Yeah.
So light at a dense space. I'm here to teach everyone that this is an emotional experience that we're having as spirit beings. And what hastens the process its frequencies using these 432 hertz frequencies, which are ancient. Every ancient culture used them and still do. Many Indigenous cultures still use sound healing to bring people back into their community, to shift their, depressed state or their anxiety, whatever it might be. I look around me in my culture particularly, and I think we are so freaking messed up. Like, what can I do? I connected with some beautiful angelics in a dream, and I'm not a dreamer. And they showed me to introduce this into my wellness business, and I've run with it. It's actually amazing.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about your wellness business.
Well, my wellness business is mostly energetic work. I also do coaching. So if someone might come to me for a plethora of reasons, ultimately my goal is to get to the root issue, which is what I feel talk therapy sometimes doesn't get to. They might be working on the addiction or working on escapism or whatever it is. But as an intuitive healer, I use that word lightly. I feel all I do is create a space for that person to heal themselves. We all have that capacity. The clairaudience helps. The frequency helps to lift. If I'm in a uppy mood, I can lift that person into a higher mood, and that comes pretty naturally for me. And then I have all these amazing affiliates that help me, not just financially, but if you're working with someone's mental health or their emotional health, which is energy, everything's emotional. That's what I think anyway. Like, we're here to have emotional energy. But if you've embodied an energy and you become it, that's then what you manifest and attract into your life. So it's great if we experience things like sadness. Great. But don't be sad the rest of your life, because you're shifting timelines into things that manifest. What the universe hears is, oh, this person likes sadness. They're holding it. They're a container for it. Let's give them more. Yeah.
You're going to get more of it.
Yeah. So basically, I'm talking to people about energy. I'm shifting it using these ancient techniques. I'm using things like EFT tapping, breath work with other coaches that I work with. I'm using Reiki. I'm using a little bit of talk therapy, and then I'll get them onto programs. What are you eating, actually? Because, what you eat, you're also embodying. What toxic things are in your environment? How can we clean things up?
Wow.
What type of water are you drinking? Is it the best that you can get? Or are you just settling, and do you know that if you speak into your water before you drink it, it energetically shifts everything? Water is what holds consciousness.
I like that. So that, and I'm gonna, I hope this is okay to say.
Yeah.
But this, so that thought, we were talking about this kind of in church too. You know what I mean? For me, how I see things for me. So God wants what he wants for us. He's already preordained for it, right? It's already it's already written. But if you keep saying, I suck at this, I can't do this, then God's not going to be like, well, let me give her more so she can complain about it. You know what I mean? At some point you have to start believing, okay, God wants this for me. I got this. I can do this. And then with that mindset, that frequency changes, and it's kind of like, okay, then those things start to attract. Those things are attracted to you because your whole, everything is different.
Definitely. I can definitely speak into this from that perspective. I've done a lot of years in church myself as an elder. I'm very well studied with the Bible and the missing scrolls that were taken out by religious organizations. This is my favorite. I'm really glad you went there, because this is my favorite topic to talk on, because a lot of people that I would have gone to church with, they would think that what I'm speaking about here with frequency is almost blasphemous. How dare you combine the two? That seems very witchy, and then this isn't. But let me tell you, when you go to the original languages, and that's the only way to study efficiently, because didn't Christ call himself the Word? which actually, when you break that down into Aramaic and even ancient Hebrew, it's talking about vibrational frequency, which is the Genesis story. So the first thing that was created was sound, and then let there be light. So technically, when you make this scientific, when I'm playing sound, that is the frequency of the number 9. Remember that Hebrew is actually numerology. It's gematria. It's Hebrew language is incredibly powerful as a spoken word, much more so than English, because it is vibrations. Yeah, it is a vibrational language, and you don't have to study very hard to find that out as truth now. If you don't believe me, a quick search will show you that to be fact. The elite use it, in fact, to cast spells. Everything that has been used to keep us trapped here is this same technology, which is the spoken word. If I sit there and say, look at the story of the Israelites, they could have cut straight across into the promised land. Deuteronomy 11:11, 1:1,
Yeah.
the promised land. There's your angel numbers right there, all in gematria in the Bible. But they didn't. They kept grumbling, and grumbling keeps you low vibrational. So it's a karmic lesson. It's a loop. You didn't learn that time. You got to learn again. Who's to blame, God or us? Because we're co-creating our reality. And if you think about, I think the biggest deception has been to say God's outside of us when Christ taught us the opposite. Where's God? Where does God live? You're the temple. Is God in the temple, or is God not in the temple? And what allows for God to be expansive from your temple? Well, it's thanksgiving, it's gratitude. All of these things shift the brainwave state, which is energetics, and then you attract heaven on earth. You can have siblings in a family. They all experience the same level of abuse, and they all take different routes. One will end up really successful. One's, ends up in, misery. One checks out. Like, it's sad, but it is, are we products of our environment, or are we just tapping into the spoken word that's been spoken over us? And that becomes your reality. I grew up in a really difficult home growing up as a child, suffered a lot, as most mystics do. And if I didn't check out of things that were spoken over me and said, no, that's not my reality. Yeah, even from my own father, he said, you'll end up this and you will never amount to anything. A lot of loathing, a lot of self-hatred there, a lot of projection. I had to check out of that, cut cords, and say, no, I'm a child of God. I'm amazing. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. That's not true. That's a lie. And it's simple, really, fear or faith. What am I manifesting with today? Me, it's faith the whole way. I've progressed through fear, and fear is an energy that we're here to experience, but if you become it, look out. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and of a sound mind.
I think there's so much fear in the unknown, but I also think that God gives us all gifts, and you have yours, and it's just about people knowing. Okay, how you broke that down is just so relatable to me. And as we were talking about Hebrews, not too long ago there was Pentecostal Sunday, and speaking in tongues was a thing. I go to a non-denominational church, but because it was Pentecostal Sunday, it was a very special event. And one of the things that was being talked about was the gift of speaking in tongues, Hebrew language, that what we may not understand, but it is understood. You know what I mean? It's like, so when you said that, it was just kind of, for me, easy for me to connect that what you're doing is a gift. You know what I mean? And I wish more people would not be afraid. It's not a freaky thing. You know what I mean? It's like what you're saying makes complete sense to me.
Yeah, it does. And, I think there's a thing, what good Father's shown me, if you have a teachable spirit, You will hold space for somebody else to express their views. But if your ego's in control, which is the energy point underneath the heart,
Yeah.
if you want to make it scientific, and you're still working within the belly, and and you're blocked because you're not open to hearing things that don't sit with your belief system, then not even good Father can shake you out of that, because somebody that's in a position that thinks they know it all is unteachable. You know,
Yeah.
it takes humility, and it takes to eat and break bread and sit with someone else and go, that challenges me, but I'm okay to disagree. Now, I'm married to a man of different faith. He comes from a Muslim bloodline. I come from a Christian bloodline. He's a different cultural race to me. Everything he does and says and eats is different to me. And it was a shock for my family. But I love him so much. He has expanded my ability to sit with, you know, what challenges me and learn from it and become a better person because of it. Imagine us all together as humanity eating, breaking bread together as we should, and just going, that's interesting. And you know what happens when you sit in a space of no judgment? It unveils your heart, and good Father will drop it in later. The Holy Spirit will expand your mind and go, you know what? There's truth to that. And you know what? You just couldn't see it. So if I look at something like this, I can't see everything. But if I have the blinkers taken off and I talk less and I listen more, that's when the Holy Spirit has an opportunity to drop it in. And that's energetics. You know, where did words start, or conversation? Where was conversation? It was the Babylon thing, right? You know, when the energy was pulling together to do not so good things, evil things, and evil spells live back to front, by the way. That's when they were scattered and division was there, but it's not forever. I believe we're right at the cusp of seeing that crumble now, which is exciting. Will everyone make it? Probably not.
Yeah. My goodness. You know what? I have to say, I didn't know what to expect, but this was it was so enlightening. And it was something I think maybe I needed to hear also. Like, this was like, and I'm truly walking in this whole thing, like, you know the phrase "order my steps." I literally am like, okay, I don't know what's getting ready to happen, but okay, I'm listening. I'm paying close attention to my steps being ordered, and this was such a blessing to me just now. Like, I'm just
love
like,
that.
I am truly honored that you agreed to be on this show.
Thank you, Charissa. Yeah, I love opportunities to speak about God and wellness. I think without wellness, we are not efficient temples, and it may not even be our egos that are blocking us from hearing. It's a literal vibration we're swimming in toxicity. We're swimming in belief systems. Think about the word belief. It's the bee leaf. You know, you have to become an evergreen. Leaves have to fall. Your beliefs have to fall off your nervous system for you to find truth and grow taller and be those evergreens that are mentioned in Revelation and protect the others. Expanding to the top. I mean, God's in everything. Like, as soon as you start to say, I'm a chosen one, I'm godly, that person isn't, I'm not, I'm deaf to that. You know, like, God, love is in everything. If you look, even in your arch enemy, you know, and it's exactly what Jesus would say, like, forgive them. They're low vibrational.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, I did not. This is something. This is something. And you know, it's like we all need to step back and look at things with a different viewpoint, I think, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Well, I'm not going to keep you too long. And also, my son is like, are you taking me to cross-country training or what? But Michelle, it was such an honor to have you on. And I can't wait to to talk more, because now I'm intrigued by, I have so many other questions.
Oh, anytime, lovely. I love these chats. And if any of your beautiful listeners in any capacity are there to connect, my heart's open for all of you. I love people. I think people are amazing. They expand us. We're all family, actually. We all come from one tree, which is, you know, the tree of life, if you can reconnect in and open your heart to it. And that's eternal, which is beautiful. We're all one soul.
Oh, yes. And so obviously, well, if it's not obvious, please make sure to give me all of your information, because I'm going to put it in the description. And everybody go find Michelle, the frequency queen. You have to go check her out. I'm telling you, I was like, what is this all about? I'm going to find out. And I'm going to have her on. And I'm going to find out what it's all about. But you guys go check her out. She's, as you can see, just open. She's open. You can ask her questions. She's the sweetest. And
I'm okay to be wrong too. Like, you know, like nobody, like I feel like my belief systems have evolved, and I think without us evolving, we're not growing, you know. Like it's okay to say I grew out of that dress, you know, I grew out of that skin. The skin is just the house, right? So, you know, that's why I'm so passionate about health and well-being. Like everything is frequency.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Charissa.
Thank you so much. You stay on while we sign off. But you guys, we'll see you the next time, as soon as I figure out how to get out of here. Thank goodness for editing. Did I do it?